Hello, Professor Page. This final programming project will be presented by me, Tania, and Joseph. As you know about our current situation with our old partners, Joe and I feel great about presenting the program I worked on in my other group. I emailed Joe the code and let him know if he had any trouble understanding the code, and he had no problem, which was great. Before I start, I would like to give you a quick overview on how we are going to present this program. We decided to create a PowerPoint that included a few screenshots of our program so that way you can easily follow through with us as we explain. We will show you the running program at the end of this PowerPoint. Okay, here we go. Our final project is called Charlie's Daycare. The program's name was based off my 1-year-old son, Charlie. Thank you, Professor. I wouldn't have even thought about this project idea if it wasn't for you. As soon as you said daycare scheduling, I immediately thought of my son in his care of needs. Although this was the biggest and longest program I have ever coded so far, it was a bit complicated trying to keep it simple as possible, but I enjoyed it. I also added a cute little pic of my son just to spark up the project a bit. The overall goal of the program. Charlie's Daycare is a comprehensive system that provides service information about a child's daily daycare schedules such as care rates, type of membership, weekend services, food option, additional charges. Based on these parameters, it provides the total billing charges. The program also calculates each child's daycare rates based on two parameters, which are the child's age and the number of days the child's parent would like daycare service each month. These are the variables and parameters. Initializing variables with values. From this screenshot, I will briefly explain how I initialize the values. As you can see, I typed out int per day rate 103 equals 45. The number 10 is the number of days, and the number 3 is the child's age. As for the next line, int per day rate 203 equals 40. The number 20 is a number of days, and the number 3 is a child's age. As for the third line, int per day rate 303 equals 35. The number 30 is a number of days, and number 3 is a child's age. The same concept goes for the rest of the other values. If the program ever needs to be changed, such as adding another variable, users can only make changes within the parameter so that it can reflect an entire program. There are two types of memberships the daycare offers, which are prime or non-prime. Based on the type of membership, the program or facility will inform the parents of the hours and days of service the daycare operates and the extra charge of weekend services. This program has the following functionalities. The first one is provide daycare schedule. This will take two parameters, child's age and year and type of membership. Based on these two parameters, the program will provide daycare information in terms of number of days service, availability, and timing. The second one is weekday charges calculation. This function will take the number of weekdays, child's age, and the number of days in a month. Based on that, the program will calculate each weekday charges. The third one, weekend charges. This function will have the child's age as an input parameter and calculate weekend charges if parents choose weekend services. Weekend charges will be calculated separately because weekend rates are different than the weekday rates, and all customers may not want the weekend services. The other one, food charges. This function will take the number of weekdays, child's age, and weekends as parameters. Based on whether weekend option selected yes or no, it would further apply logic for the child's age and number of weekday services to calculate food charges. All functionalities that were mentioned have been implemented as functions or methods of class daycare. This way, the objects can be created from the class daycare and pass all the required parameter values to these functions to calculate the output. What users will see on the prompt. When the program first runs, it will provide a brief description of the daycare hours and the days of operation, as well as the title name of the program. It will then prompt the user to answer all the following questions, which you will see when the program runs. It would ask, please enter child's age and years. Please enter membership type, P for prime, 0 for non-prime. Please enter number of weekdays you need childcare. Do you also need childcare during the weekends? Enter yes or no. Will you be providing your own food for child? Enter yes or no. Based on the answers the user inputs into the system, the program uses the declared class functions in member variables so it can calculate the following on a weekly basis: weekday charges, weekend charges, food charges, total charges for the week. And here is just a screenshot that I took of the questions that the program asked, and I just inputted some answers. I also had the program create an error message if, say, for example, the user puts in the wrong answer, such as the letter Z or etc. Alrighty, and then as for the following project, my friend Joe will take on the next part.
Thank you, Tania, for that great description of the overview of the program. I'll now be describing what the second part of the code is used for. This first slide and the first 30 lines of the code is explaining how the user must input the child's age into the code, and depending on the input that is given, the code will display a certain response, such as on line 22 states the print option for please enter the correct input for the child's age. This next slide at the top of the picture is a continuation of the possible inputs for the question on the previous slide. If an incorrect input was entered, an error message will display, seen on line 45, which states input error for child's age or number of days or yes/no. Between lines 54 and 59, you can see that there are options for prime and non-prime print options depending on the option that you give. This slide has all the mathematical data and equations for the daycare dates. It shows how each month is calculated in lines 72 to 74, checks how many leap years have been before the dates have been chosen, and will print out both dates accordingly with the variables DT1 and DT2. Days will be displayed as D, months will be displayed as M, and years will be displayed as Y. This slide shows each significant line commented and explained what each section means. We as a group included days, months, and years, and also included a leap year option just in case you need daycare during a leap year. The total number of days is printed and then returned. This slide shows all of the crucial information that has to be inputted. Each question will result in a different answer depending on the input that you are selected. At Charlie's Daycare, you have to answer questions such as your child's age, the membership type, the amount of daycares you need, if you need assistance on the weekends, and will your child be bringing food from home. The final slide is showing all of the in statements that were written regarding the food total in lines 150, weekday rate in line 152, weekday total in line 154, and the total in line 156. Between lines 160 and 172 in the figure, it shows all of the print statements for each specific category. It shows all of the calculations that are made and printed for the user to see at the end of the output. These next two slides will show the outputs that Tania and I have created depending on our different inputs that are created. This first output was created by Tania, and seeing her child's age is 3, she wanted a Prime membership, and the number of weekdays you'll need her child's care was 4, and also she needs her child's care for the weekend and will be bringing food from home. And the total number and all the charges will be displayed at the bottom. In this next slide is the output that I created. My child's age was 7. I did not have a Prime membership. I needed 3 days a week for child's care. I did not need anything on the weekends, and I will be bringing food from home. It shows the hours of the daycare schedules and the total at the bottom. And now Tania and I would like to both extend this thank you to Professor Page for a great semester. Your words of wisdom will stick with us, and for nearly 5 years, you have been such a great mentor for me, and I cannot thank you enough. Tania and I both wish you a happy holidays and hope you and your family stay safe. Thank you.